welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to gently unpack a massive modern obsession. You know, that whole good vibes only culture. And we're going to explore why it might actually be secretly exhausting you. I mean, everywhere we look today, we're told to think positive, to smile, to just banish negative thoughts, right? But what happens when that relentless positivity stops being a helpful tool for growth and starts becoming a mask? Well, today, we are going to break down the profound difference between forced positivity and genuine inner peace.
Okay, let's just dive right in. We got to start with a really quiet, super personal question. Why is it that so many of us, people who watch motivational content, repeat our daily affirmations, and smile through the entire workday, feel this overwhelming sense of emptiness as soon as we're alone at night? I want to validate that silent struggle for you right now. You put on that brave face, you tell your friends you're doing absolutely great, but underneath it all, you're carrying the heavy weight of overthinking, anxieties about the future, and unresolved failures.
And that brings us to what we call fake positivity. It's basically the act of throwing a motivational quote blanket over your real, painful emotions. We do this to hide our reality from the world, because let's be honest, we're terrified of appearing weak. Now, affirmations and positive thoughts, they aren't inherently bad, but when you use them purely as a mask to cover up how you truly feel, you develop a really dangerous habit. Because you don't just stop lying to the world, you actually start lying to yourself. To really wrap our heads around why this is so dangerous, the source material gives us this incredible visual metaphor, the cracked wall analogy. Just imagine a house with a structurally compromised wall. It's got deep, serious cracks running right through the foundation. And this brilliantly illustrates the core problem. Look, painting over a cracked wall doesn't actually make the house any stronger, right? If you just slap a fresh, bright coat of paint over those cracks, people walking by are going to think the house looks absolutely perfect. But inside, that wall is getting weaker every single day. Eventually, literally the smallest shock will bring the whole thing down. Plastering a fake smile over your inner turmoil never heals your emotional cracks. It just guarantees an eventual breakdown.
Moving into Section 1, the danger of suppressed emotions, running from the dark.
There is this wildly absurd contrast in how we treat ourselves. Think about it. When we have physical pain, like a broken arm or a high fever, we immediately go to a doctor. We want a cure. We treat our bodies with care. But when it comes to emotional pain, we literally tell our grieving or anxious minds to just shut up and smile. Imagine a crying child who just scraped their knee. If you yell at them to stop crying instead of comforting them, their pain wouldn't magically vanish. They'd just feel incredibly lonely. And yet, we're doing the exact same thing to our own minds. Because here's the absolutely crucial point. Emotions are not enemies. They are simply messengers. Just like physical pain is your body's alarm system telling you you're injured, emotional pain is a messenger too. It's your mind signaling that something inside needs your attention, your awareness, and your compassion. When you ignore anxiety or try to suppress sadness, those emotions don't just disappear, they multiply. They come back louder because the message hasn't been received yet.
Which brings up a huge distinction between escapism and true rest. So many of us pride ourselves on staying super busy. We scroll through reels, work late, watch endless videos. But constant distraction is basically like fainting, while inner peace is like restorative sleep. Both involve having your eyes closed to the outside world, sure, but one totally depletes your life force while the other restores it. If you spend your entire day distracting your mind, you're just suppressing those messenger emotions. And that is exactly why they return as such loud, overwhelming voices the second you lay down in the quiet of the night.
All right, Section 2, Krishna's lesson to Arjuna, wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita.
So, before this massive, legendary battle, the great warrior Arjuna actually had a total emotional breakdown. His hands were shaking, he was in tears, and his mind was just entirely shattered. But Krishna didn't look at him and say, "Hey, just think positive, Arjuna, good vibes only." Nope. Instead, Krishna first listened to Arjuna's immense pain without an ounce of judgment. He didn't suppress the emotions, he helped Arjuna face them head-on. Because true healing always begins by acknowledging the absolute truth of where you are right now, not by hiding behind a forced smile.
And this builds perfectly into the core concept of the Gita, which is called samatvam. This is the practice of maintaining inner balance and equilibrium across all circumstances. See, inner peace is not about being blissfully happy 24/7. That's impossible. It's about having the incredible courage to acknowledge every single emotion you have, whether it's joy, exhaustion, sadness, or anger, without any fear or guilt. You see the truth, but you refuse to become a prisoner to it.
This brings us to Section 3, navigating the emotional pond and understanding our reactions.
I want you to imagine your mind as a perfectly calm pond. When the water is completely still, it reflects the sky and your face with perfect clarity. But modern life is constantly throwing stones into your pond. You've got stones of comparison from social media, stones of failure, heavy stones of expectation. The water ripples, and suddenly you lose your clarity. But here's the real secret. The problem isn't that the stones are falling into your pond. The actual problem is that you are jumping up and down with every single stone, splashing around and creating even more chaos.
So we need a massive paradigm shift here. Fake positivity demands that you hide what you feel, which just temporarily numbs you. True inner peace, on the other hand, asks you to understand what you feel. It's built slowly, day by day, by making friends with your own mind. When a stone hits the water, instead of instantly trying to fix the ripple or pretend the stone didn't just drop, you just pause and ask yourself, hey, what am I actually feeling right now?
This is perfectly captured by thinking about ocean waves. Trying to control and suppress every negative emotion, like telling yourself, I shouldn't be angry, or I shouldn't be jealous, is literally like trying to stop crashing ocean waves with your bare hands. The harder you push against the wave, the harder it knocks you down. But if you learn to observe the waves, if you learn to actually swim with them, they can carry you forward. Your emotions are just like passing clouds. You are the vast sky observing them. Remember, you are not your anger. You simply experience anger.
All right, moving on to Section 4, 3 Steps to True Peace. These are actionable daily habits.
Let's walk through these because they're super practical. Step 1. Just sit in silence for 5 minutes a day. No phone, no distractions. Ask yourself what's going on inside and just observe it without judging it as good or bad. Step 2. When a negative emotion hits, do not run from it. Take a deep breath and name it out loud. Say, I have anger right now, or I have fear right now. Simply naming the emotion completely separates your true identity from the passing feeling. It instantly lightens the burden. And finally, Step 3. Every single night, consciously forgive yourself for one mistake you made that day. If you're constantly blaming yourself, peace is never going to stick around in your mind.
Which leads us to Section 5, the Lotus Mindset, living in the modern world.
The source material gives us this beautiful, timeless metaphor of the lotus flower. The lotus grows completely surrounded by thick, dirty mud, and yet it never lets that mud enter its core or stain its petals. To find inner peace, you don't need to delete all your social media apps, cut off all your relationships, or run away to live in a cave on a mountain. You don't. You just need to develop a sturdy core. Let the world's praise and the world's harsh criticisms reach your ears, for sure, but never ever allow them to penetrate your heart.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates what's truly wearing us down today. The heaviest burden of modern life isn't physical labor. It isn't even our endless daily to-do lists. It is the sheer, agonizing exhaustion of acting. Pretending to be this completely successful, always confident, always happy persona when you are actually hurting inside, that drains your life force. People today have money, smartphones, followers, endless entertainment, and yet they are so emotionally exhausted. True rest only happens when your inner truth finally aligns with your outer life.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really provocative question. Think about this. If you didn't have to prove your success to anyone, how would you live? Your honest answer to this will reveal whether you're actually living in peace or if you're just desperately trying to protect an image. So I have a challenge for you. When this explainer ends in a few seconds, don't immediately pick up your phone to scroll. Just sit in silence for 2 minutes. Face the truth you've been running from. Ask yourself what emotion you're hiding, and begin the real journey toward genuine inner peace. Thanks so much for joining me today, and take care of your true selves.